Alright, and we're back. So I just took a few minutes off because I just let this onions, or these onions, excuse me, English teachers, pardon. I just want to cook them until they're slightly soft. You want to cook them on a lower temperature because you don't want them to get brown, okay? So these are at the soft stage. It's just been about 2 minutes. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add my garlic and my rice. So put my garlic in here. I'm going to put 2 cups of brown rice in here. And what, I'm making a mess. Don't tell my students. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is just toasting this rice and getting it coated in the oil. So this is kind of gonna bring about kind of a toasted flavor of the rice, which just brings out the flavor of the rice and makes it just a little more tasty. So it's nice and coated real quick. Now I'm gonna add 2/3 a cup of wine and let the rice just soak it up, and this should take about 1 minute. Nice little sizzle there. You don't have to use wine, and the alcohol cooks off, so in my opinion, all the fun cooks off, but you can use vinegar, you can use water, or chicken broth. And you can use any wine that you want. I'm using Pinot Grigio, you can use Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc. I'm using a real cheap wine because you're cooking with it, so you just want the concentrated flavors of it. So I'm turning this up just a little bit to get this to absorb. As you can see, my sirloin chops are still cooking. I haven't touched them at all, but if I go to move them, they move around real nice. So that tells me that they're cooking really well and my pan is at a good temperature. This one is almost cooked halfway through. As you can see there, it's about white halfway up. So that's getting ready to be flipped. Alright, so it looks like the majority of my wine is soaked up. So now at this point I'm going to start to add chicken broth. Once again, it's totally up to you. You can use chicken broth, chicken stock, beef broth, whatever you prefer. I'm using store-bought. You can make your own chicken stock. It's pretty simple. Maybe I'll make a video about that someday, but right now I'm going with the store-bought. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to start to add this about 1 cup at a time. And once the 1 cup is absorbed, then I'll add more. So people think kind of risotto is a tricky, complicated thing to make, but it's actually not that difficult. And that's, I mean, obviously I'm a foods teacher, so I'm saying that with some cooking experience, but I was always a little intimidated by it until I really learned the process, which is you just wait till the liquid is absorbed, and then you add more until the rice is cooked all the way through. And then you get to add pretty much whatever you want. We're going to be adding spinach because we are doing the fruit and vegetable challenge, but you can add pretty much whatever you want. So this chop is ready to be flipped, so I'm going to take this, flip it over. So I've got a nice crust on it, so it's not burnt, but it's golden brown. That's what I'm looking for. So that's good. All right. So I want this to be boiling. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to turn this heat up a little bit, make sure that this is getting absorbed. At this point too, I'm going to add some seasoning. When you cook, you don't want to wait until the end to season. You always want to season during, so those flavors are able to absorb into the food and not just kind of lay on the top of it at the end. Okay, so I'm going to wait for that to absorb. This should take about 5 minutes. Then I'll add more, let that absorb, add some more, let that absorb. Okay, and at each point you want to kind of taste the rice to see if it's done or not. And also it's kind of up to you what kind of texture you want in your rice. With risotto, you want it to be kind of creamy, so it might be a little mushy, but that's what you want. But once again, that's completely up to you. So at this point, this pork chop is about done. Let me check on my cauliflower. Okay, so my cauliflower is looking really good. It's kind of getting golden, a little crisp. So this is done. My pork chop's about done. This will probably be, my risotto will probably be about another 20 minutes. Okay, after that, when this is all done, I'm gonna turn the heat off, dump in the spinach, put a bunch of Parmesan cheese in it, and it will be all ready to go. So pretty much this whole meal will feed a family. Of course, 2 chops isn't enough, okay, but you make as many as your family needs. And it takes about 20 minutes, okay? So I'm gonna end right here. When this is all done, I will show you the finished product. Thank you for watching today, Newark Health Warriors. And I will see you next week with another recipe, and hopefully you guys can give me some suggestions on what you want to see, what you want to learn how to make, and hopefully you will join me next time. Kaylee, you're in it. Thank you and good night.